between now and then, there are some pressing questions. Can we try to answer some of those right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's start with the Oilers. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. Will they finally get over the hump, get past the first round? What do you think?
I think they will. I think that that's going to be due to the burning desire for them to figure out an answer to this problem that they've been seeing here. They will figure it out. 97-29 will. But I also think the addition of Zach Hyman, I think, is huge. Huge. Because they don't have, and they did not and have not had game managers. That's what Zach Hyman is. And he can play with top-end talent as well, as we've seen him playing with Austin Matthews and et cetera in Toronto. So, yes, I think this is going to be a step forward for the Edmonton Oilers.
What happens if Mike Smith isn't the Mike Smith that we saw last year? That probably doesn't happen.
That's concerning, I think, is the goaltending. And that's
he was
kind
great last year, but
he has been. I think that when we start talking about age, age is only a factor when you start to see it diminishing, and we haven't really seen that in Mike Smith. I'm concerned because all it takes is one little injury to kind of derail things. So, but there's still a season to be played. There's still a trade deadline time. There's always time to get an insurance policy in between the pipes. But for what we saw and what they saw from Mike Smith, they feel like that, hey, he's part of the solution. He wasn't the problem.
No, not at all. I like it. High hopes in Edmonton to start this year. Situations that need to be resolved. Jack Eichel, Vladimir Tarasenko. By opening night, are both these guys, are their contracts in their new teams or old teams, is this situation going to be figured out?
I don't believe so. I don't think that both will be figured out.
One of them?
Maybe Tarasenko. I think this Jack Eichel thing is going to take a little while. With that being said, if I'm the Buffalo Sabres, I don't know how you can bring him in that locker room. And that's no knock to Jack Eichel and no knock more being seen inside the locker room. And for the Buffalo Sabres, for that standpoint, I think it's time for them to turn the page. Their biggest thing they have to do is cultivate a winning culture. And they have to turn the page on Jack Eichel here.
What about the captaincy? I mean, he's still the captain of the Buffalo Sabres. How do you go about that between now and opening night? Even if the situation isn't resolved, do you strip him of the C, or as long as he's on that roster, is he still the captain? I mean, that's.
I don't think you really have to address it because he's not going to, in my opinion,
won't be
playing
around it, right?
So you're not going to see a C on his jersey. You're not going to see it on anybody else's jersey. But this is just it's kind of a mess. And Buffalo's trying to hit a home run, and they need to hit a home run on this situation. But the big question is, where's Jack's health? Yeah. And these other teams, they might be they want to make sure that things are on the up and the up. And so time will tell. It's got a lot of layers to it here. Follow Elliot Friedman's always down with it,
right?
So
yeah,
he'll have the updates there, but I don't see this resolving anytime soon.
All right, speaking of hitting a home run, how about the Blackhawks and their offseason acquisitions? Marc-Andre Fleury. Are the Hawks back, Rupper?
I think they are. I think this is a team that they've shown signs of it the last couple seasons. They've been flirting with the playoffs, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like the bottom drops out. Well, when you add a Vezina-winning goaltender and a #1 defenseman, Seth Jones, that should change your fortunes a little bit.
And your captain's back.
And your captain, and that I love that you just brought that up because that is a huge piece to the puzzle there. Having a healthy and productive Jonathan Toews will do volumes for this team. So, I think this team's going to push. I think they're going to be back in the playoffs, and I can't wait to see it. Tyler Johnson, super motivated. He's got to be motivated. He's going to go in there and he's going to have opportunities. So this is a fun group to watch, and I'm excited to watch the Hawks this year.
I just sit here and ask about captains. That's all I do. This next one, no captains. The Maple Leafs, will they recover this season after the disappointment, the disastrous first-round exit, up 3-1 to Montreal and blowing that?
I'm just happy and giddy with all these teams. Yeah, I think they do. I think that it's just all positivity.
Yeah, I love it.
Go. But no, I really do think that they have to go through this process, and they have to learn. And I do think, for the most part, did the season end the way they wanted? No, absolutely not. They didn't get it done in the playoffs once again. But in the regular season, I saw a different Toronto Maple Leafs team. Now they've got to get to the point, I'll speak on Zach Hyman going to Edmonton. He's going to be dearly missed on this roster. So can they manage the game? Play situational hockey is something that they haven't done well, and it's burned them in the playoffs. So I expect 34 to do what he does, score goals. I expect Mitch Marner to do what he does, generate offense. And it's about this group growing together, and this is kind of the next step in the process. I think they get past, take another step in their development.
Ooh, are you saying get past the first round? Is that where you were
yeah,
alluding to?
Yeah, no, I do. I think that they get out of that first round this year.
Right, I like that. Let's go all the way to the West. The 32nd team in the NHL, the Seattle Kraken. Will the Kraken contend for a playoff spot in year one?
They will contend. I don't think that they'll make it,
okay,
but they are in that division where I think it's up for grabs. I think they're going to be a team they've done a good job. Ron Francis has done a great job in building this team to have what I think on paper an identity, right? And now it's about having them all come together on the ice and bring that together and mesh those personalities together where you're a difficult team to play against. I think they have all the makings to have that happen. And that's big because you can't have success till you know who you are. And I think they're going to be a real difficult out on any given night. They'll push for the playoffs. I don't know. I don't see them going in. Vegas set that bar so dang high. I don't know if
look at that. DNQ, Stanley Cup final.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
So it's not fair to compare it to that, but this will be a very good team, I think.
All right. How about a really good team? The team that won the last 2 Stanley Cups, Tampa Bay Lightning, 3-peat this year. What do you think?
I think they do it. I really, really do. I just don't see another team that has what they have. Sure, they've got part of the gut of this team ripped out as far as losing some real key components, but they've already gone and located some guys that I think should be able to fill those gaps a little bit. And those guys are going to get opportunities to do the same. The one thing you can't take away from them, they got the best goalie in the world, the best defenseman in the world. They've got 2, arguably 3 of the top 25, 30 forwards in the world. I mean, you're going to win. You're going to win with that, you know? So I think the bigger thing is, what have other teams done? Is this the year that the Florida Panthers have they learned how to get past Tampa? That's going to be the big battle, I think, is the state of Florida. You're going to have a real good matchup between these two. But for me right now, yeah, I would not be shocked at all if this team three-peats.
Who's their biggest competition in the East? Is it Florida for you? Let's talk like Eastern Conference Finals. Florida, I don't even know if that can happen divisionally. But how about the Islanders and how about Carolina? What do you think? Of those 3 teams, who poses the biggest threat to the three-peat or at least getting to the Stanley Cup again?
Probably the New York Islanders, I would have to say, but they've shown that they can beat them. They've done it the last 2 years. So it's more, have the other teams learned what they need to do to beat Tampa? Tampa doesn't need to learn anything more. They've done it, right? So it's just about them. It's almost more of a story. Are they going to run out of gas? You know, all those things come into the equation. Well, they played a lot of hockey over the last couple of years. You know, it makes them a little, it wears them down. That's all garbage. You got to, as a player, put that to the side. Don't believe that stuff. Move forward. You got an opportunity to do something really special here in Tampa, and you've got all the pieces in place. So this should be fun.